Well, greetings once again, Blade fans. I've got a different one for you today. Well, they should all be different, right? But this is different because I'm going to do an unboxing. Normally, I don't do unboxings. Boxes are kind of uninteresting cardboard things. This is far different. And as you can tell from the thumbnail, this is going to be a Bastinelli knife. And one I have sought after for a while and thought about and considered and finally bit the bullet on it. Came from White Mountain Knives, can't guarantee they're anymore, but we'll get into that in a moment. This is a box. Now this is a box. Hard plastic, and you're going to see when we open it up, it's got some special features. 4 latches on the outside. Here's a little taste of what's to come. And here is Mr. Bastinelli's warranty, as you get with many of his products. Here's something interesting. So here's who makes the box or provides the box is V Knives. Sorry, there's the V. Now V Knives is located in Washington State and is a company owned by Mike Vellecamp, a very well-known former Spyderco employee, or perhaps more than that. Was there for a long time. There's an interesting video interview of him on a podcast out on YouTube that might interest you. I'll see if I can put a link to that video in my video here. But let's not hesitate too long and let's pop this guy open, because I know I'm already frustrating some of you guys, right? And I almost popped these latches ahead of time because they're tight. And that's a good thing, because we will see what's inside, see if I have it oriented the right way. I do. Look at that. And there is the Bastinelli chopper, a fixed blade knife. And this is, we'll get into the knife in a bit, but let's get it out of the box. By the way, this is all sealed with a rubber gasket around the edge, and you are encouraged to reuse the box for whatever. And here's a little point protector that's on there so that this doesn't slide around and jab the foam in the box. I'm going to put that back in there, and if we lift up this section here, we have the Kydex sheath, and we have a nice sticker from Bastinelli. We're going to put that back in, and they do make it pretty convenient for you to lift these foam layers. Now all the foam can come out, and you can use this as a storage box for whatever, fishing tackle, other knives, jewelry, what have you, but it's very sturdy, meant to be reused. I'm going to put that aside, and we're going to get on to the blade itself. Now, I'll tell you up front that this is one of the most comfortable fixed blade knives I have ever held. This is made in M390 in the USA. Now that's a very interesting thing, because if you look up V Knives, they do make knives. And the case was by V Knives, and that's VNIVES.com. V Knives with an N instead of a K. And again, Mike Vellecamp, very well known in the knife industry as a designer, and now owning his own company fairly recently, again in Washington State. So my question is, made in the U.S., whereas Most of the rest of the Bastinellis I have were made in Italy, either by Lion Steel or Fox. This is not a Lion Steel or Fox production. PVD coated, and that's an interesting coating. See if I can give you a little blurb while you're looking at this. I'm already 5 minutes into it, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about the ancillary stuff, but sometimes that stuff is interesting. So PVD utilizes titanium nitride that provides an extremely durable and tough wearing coating. They have far higher resistance to wear than traditional platings. So it's not a plating, it's actually deposited into the surface of the knife. So, we'll see over time how that wears. But again, I was saying one of the most comfortable fixed blades around that I have held that is also thin and not overly thick. This is a G10 handle that is applied over the tang in two pieces and bolted down. So you've got these screws on both sides with what appears to be a T8 inside of that collar. Interesting screw. And I'll say that this is every bit the workmanship that you find on Bastinelli's offerings from Fox and Lion Steel. It's a beautiful grind, very much a trailing point, upswept blade. So my hesitation with this is that in the type of combatives and tactical knife use that I am familiar with, the trailing point is sometimes frowned upon in a smallish knife, because as you cut this way, you are moving the pressure away from the target. However, it really depends upon how versed you are in what methods of employing the blade. Now you can see there's a good amount of thickness out to the point on this knife. And there are 3 sections of jimping for the thumb and for detail work, should you choose to do that. Now, one reviewer said that his summation was that because this can be used in a point down piect style grip, that those were for trapping. I don't believe that's the case. They aren't going to give you much advantage in trapping. But you can trap with this blade, and it does work quite well in the point down position, although the edge won't be on the inside, it'll be on the outside. All right, let's get to the all-important measurements. This chopper by Bastinelli is 8 1/4 inches overall, and it has a blade of, we're going to call it 3.6 inches and a cutting edge of 3.8 inches. We have a blade stock in millimeters right up here of, what do we have? 3.2. We have a very thin handle thickness of 0.46. And a weight of the knife alone of only 3.989 ounces. We're going to call it 99. We're going to call that 4 ounces, okay? And I suppose we should do it with the sheath on. What the heck? Get back there. With the sheath, 5.132. Speaking of the sheath, it is a very sturdy, well done kydex sheath that's light. Comes with 3, 4, 5 grommets and utilizes a synthetic strap that has a one-way snap on it, very firm. And this can be reoriented so that you have inside the pants, or you can snap it down and have a, there we go, tight snap, as it should be, or a horizontal carry, wrapping that over your belt on the outside. It is snug, and as it's set up here, cannot be thumbed off. I saw another version of this sheath. Maybe it was an earlier model, maybe it's a later model, where this sheath comes way up here so you can place your thumb there. That would be if you're carrying it in your pocket. You can still carry this in your pocket, however, if you put a static line on the bottom and loop it through your belt. Then the knife is in the pocket. When you pull it out, the static line pulls the sheath off and you're all set. But a very nice minimalist sheath that is very tough, well done in the taco style. That is a folded over kydex sheath. Now, comparing this Bastinelli chopper to the Street Beat, it is a good deal larger. Street Beat is a much smaller knife. Comparing it to a recently reviewed knife by TKL Knives, this is the Guardian, it is coming up on the same size, maybe about an inch longer, and close to the same blade length. This is about a 4-inch blade on this knife. Handle-wise, this is a nice ergonomic handle, but I feel just a little cramped on it, and I can't put my thumb fully on the back, which I like to do. This Bastinelli chopper is very light and satisfies that need to fully place my thumb on the back of the blade for reinforced cuts. And this can be used on your circular stabbing motions as used in many Kali styles. It will follow that point, although a straight movement with the point still has it more or less in line in a saber grip. So on a diagonal on the palm, it's in a pretty good position. So it's just that style that he designed. Bastinelli has designed Warncliffe style blades. He's done clip point style blades, and this one's a little unique in that it takes on that trailing point form. Now again, we have to wonder about this. Made in the U.S. First Bastinelli knife I've seen made in the U.S. That has come through my hands at least. So with V-Knives making the case, and V-Knives also producing some fixed blades and folders, I'm inclined to believe that this knife was OEM'd by V-Knives. And maybe you'll know more about that if you're into that company and kind of the history of Mike Vellenkamp with Spyderco and other concerns. He had worked very closely with Sal Glesser, and so he's very familiar with knife production. We got a lanyard hole. We have kind of a grenade sort of cross hatching that is very grippy. It's interesting. If you don't put any pressure on it, it's smooth. As soon as you push into it, you're not going anywhere. Nice jimping here on the handle, excuse me, and as I said, all over the blade. We got jimping on the handle, and this is cut in pretty deeply. That fits the thumb. would say overall a beautiful tactical and utility knife, because you can really use that fully even curve on this chopper. Haven't seen too many reviews on this particular blade, and you may or may not have an interest. Depends upon whether you enjoy small fixed blades. But it is, for me, a perfect size, and quite happy with the way it just is lively and responds in the hand, and is so positive in the grip, even for a thin grip like that. And finger placement is perfect. You can fit two here, you can fit two there. Somehow that little hump on the handle will find its place, and there are no hot spots on this knife. Feels like a surgeon's scalpel, although I'm not a surgeon. Let me know what you think. This is the Bastinelli chopper, designed by Bastien Coves of Bastinelli Knives. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe.